Have you ever heard of a Russian soldier standing in a tiny Moscow karaoke bar, singing Anak with tears rolling down his face? Sounds unbelievable, right? But one freezing winter night, something happened that no one saw coming. A song written in the Philippines in 1977 somehow melted the heart of a man who didn't even know the country existed. His name was Dmitry Vulov, a 43-year-old engineer from St. Petersburg. Before 2020, he'd never heard of Tagalog, never touched a karaoke mic, and honestly, he couldn't even point to the Philippines on a map. Then his company sent him to Batangas. He expected heat, noise, and chaos. But what he found was something else entirely. Music. Music everywhere. Workers sang while lifting steel beams. Drivers hummed in traffic. Vendors sang while frying eggs. Even kids in the street belted out love songs like tiny superstars. To Dmitry, it was shocking. In Russia, people only sing when they're drunk or celebrating. In the Philippines, people sing because they're alive. At first, Dmitry just watched. He didn't understand the words, but he could feel the emotion. One night, his co-workers dragged him to a karaoke bar. The room was loud, warm, full of laughter. People passed the mic like it was a gift. Then someone began singing a song Dmitry had never heard before. Anak, a slow guitar intro, a voice full of pain and love. The whole room went silent. Even Dmitry, who didn't know a single Tagalog word, felt something heavy fall into his chest. After the song, he whispered, "What does Anak mean?" His friend smiled. "Child." Dmitry didn't sleep that night. The melody wrapped around him like a memory. It reminded him of his mother, the one he hadn't spoken to in years. When his contract ended, he returned to a frozen St. Petersburg, carrying only one souvenir, a USB filled with Filipino songs. Winter covered the city in ice, but Dmitry felt different. Every night he played Anak. He didn't understand each line, but he understood the feeling. Regret. Love, forgiveness. One evening, he finally picked up his phone and called his mother. They hadn't spoken in years. When she answered, he panicked. He didn't know what to say. So he simply played Anak through the speaker. Silence. Then his mother whispered, voice trembling, "That's beautiful, my son." That was the night everything changed. Months passed. Life returned to its cold rhythm. But Anak stayed inside him like a quiet fire. And then came the night that would change not only Dmitry's life, but eventually, all of Russia. Winter deepened in Moscow that year. Snow piled on rooftops, the streets turned quiet, and the nights felt endless. Dmitry Vulov tried to settle back into his old life. Long work hours, silent dinners, lonely walks through icy streets. But Anak stayed with him like a heartbeat he couldn't ignore. Then one snowy Friday, his friends convinced him to join them at a tiny karaoke bar hidden between two apartment blocks. The inside was dim and smoky, filled with laughter and the clinking of glasses. People sang old Russian songs, deep, heavy melodies of heartbreak and war. Then it was Dmitry's turn. He hesitated, scrolling through the karaoke list. And there it was, Anak, Freddie Aguilar. Something inside him whispered, "Sing it." The screen lit up with soft yellow glow. The gentle guitar began. People in the bar expected a joke, maybe a drunk attempt at some foreign song. But then Dmitry started singing. Not perfectly, not confidently, but with everything inside him. When he reached the chorus, his voice cracked. A tear fell, then another. The entire bar fell silent. Even the bartender polishing a glass froze and stared. Though no one understood Tagalog, the emotion hit everyone like a wave. A video camera from a cheap old phone began recording. When he finished the last line, the room didn't cheer. They didn't clap. They just stared at him, like they had witnessed something sacred. The video was posted online that same night, and by morning, Russia had already seen it. Millions of views in hours. People commented things like, "This feels like he's singing my childhood. I don't know this song, but it hurts beautifully. He sings like he's lived the lyrics." For Dmitry, it wasn't about fame. It was about the feeling he had felt, that warm Filipino honesty he had first seen in Batangas. But something strange happened next. People across Russia began searching for Filipino songs. Then they started singing them. Videos appeared everywhere. Teenagers singing Dahil Sayo. Old men trying their best with Bakit Pa. A woman crying through Tuloy Pa Rin. They didn't understand every word, but they understood the feeling. Karaoke bars updated their playlists, adding Tagalog sections for the first time in history. Music shops ran out of karaoke machines, the same style popular in the Philippines. And just like that, karaoke fever began sweeping through Russia. Yet the story didn't stop there. Thousands of kilometers away, in a small frozen town in Siberia, a young school teacher named Irina Petrova saw Dmitry Vulov's viral video. Her town was one of the coldest places on earth. Quiet, gray, distant. Kids rarely smiled, people rarely spoke. Irina had an idea. She downloaded a few Filipino songs, translated the lyrics into Russian, and told her students, "Today, we sing something different." The song she chose was Tuloy Pa Rin, a song about continuing, even when life is hard. At first, the kids giggled at the strange Tagalog words, but within minutes, something shifted. They started humming, they started smiling, they started feeling. In the hallways, they sang the chorus with bright voices. Parents noticed their children laughing more. Even the local radio played their version, calling it Warm Songs for Cold Hearts. And that tiny Siberian classroom became the spark of something much bigger. A movement, a healing, a warmth spreading across the world's coldest country, all because of a Filipino song. News of the Siberian school spread faster than anyone expected. Parents talked about it, teachers shared videos. Radio hosts kept replaying the children's version of Tuloy Pa Rin. Before long, the Philippine embassy in Moscow heard about it, and they were stunned. A Filipino song, lifting spirits in Siberia? They reached out to Irina and to Dmitry Vulov. They invited both of them to join a new cultural program called Songs Without Borders. For the first time ever, Filipino and Russian singers would share one stage, not for competition, not for fame, but simply to sing from the heart. The night of the concert arrived. The hall was dim, expectant, filled with people who had been touched, somehow strangely, by Filipino music. Dmitry stepped onto the stage. His hands trembled slightly. The lights glowed soft and warm. He sang Anak in Russian. Beside him, a Filipino choir answered in Tagalog. Two languages, one message. Their voices blended like a prayer. When the last note faded, the audience didn't clap at first. They stood, in complete silence, then erupted into applause that felt like thunder. Some cried openly, others simply smiled in disbelief. The moment was real, it was powerful, and it changed something deep inside Russia. Television hosts called it the karaoke cure. Psychologists said Filipino songs were helping people fight loneliness and stress. Karaoke nights began popping up in hospitals, retirement homes, classrooms, and community centers. Doctors said patients healed faster when they sang. Teachers said shy children were becoming brave. Old men who barely spoke all winter were suddenly requesting microphones. One psychiatrist even said, "These songs carry warmth, the kind we Russians have always wanted to show, but never knew how." By early 2024, karaoke communities existed in every major Russian city. People gathered every weekend, singing both Russian folk songs and Filipino hits. It didn't matter if they understood Tagalog, they understood the emotion. Dmitry became a quiet symbol of the movement. Not a celebrity, just a man who had once listened deeply to a song. Then came the biggest moment of all, the Harmony Festival. A massive event organized by the Russian Ministry of Culture and the Philippine Embassy, celebrating friendship through music. Red Square glowed under winter lights. Giant screens showed Tagalog and Russian lyrics side by side. Thousands gathered, soldiers, teachers, families, priests, children. Some held Philippine flags, others held microphones. When Dmitry walked on stage, he wasn't alone. Behind him stood Irina and her Siberian students, now called the Snow Choir. They wore bright Filipino costumes sent from Manila. The music began. Dmitry Vulov sang the first verse in Russian. The children answered in Tagalog. Then something magical happened. The entire crowd joined in. Thousands of Russians singing a Filipino song under falling snow. Some cried, some held hands. Some just stood there, overwhelmed. It wasn't just a concert, it was history. Backstage, an elderly Filipino man approached Dmitry with a rosary in hand. His name was Ernesto, a retired seaman who had lived in Russia for 30 years. With tears in his eyes, he said, "When I first came here, no one knew my language. Tonight, everyone sang it. You don't know what that means." Dmitry didn't speak. He just nodded, eyes shining with gratitude. That night marked something deeper than music. It was connection. It was healing. It was proof that a melody from a small tropical nation could melt the heart of one of the coldest countries on earth. From that day on, Russia was never quite the same. Every winter, when the first snow fell, small bars and community halls filled with people singing Anak. It became a tradition, a ritual, like lighting a candle in the dark. A reminder that even in the coldest places, warmth can return. And sometimes, it only takes one song,